When we talk about using the backwards design process, most teachers have to adjust their thinking from lesson planning being linear to the planning process being more cyclical. Some might call it messy. A teacher must try a little bit of this and a little bit of that to create a good lesson plan. If the teacher discovers there is too much of one activity or not enough focus on the big idea, then she should go back and adjust the lesson. The teacher needs to recheck her ideas as she plans to make sure that they are logical and well supported.
Well, that didn't work.
What?
Oh, I planned a lesson on using non-standard measurement, and it just got out of control. I didn't think the students got the point of the activity.
What sort of things did you have them do?
Well, I had them work in groups of 3, and they visited different stations to measure the spines of their notebooks using different tools, like snap cubes, crayons, counting bears, paper clips, things like that. I had them visit 8 different stations, and then we were all going to discuss our findings and come around getting to understand as to why the standard measurement is needed. The stations got too long, some of the students got bored, while others struggled. And we never got around to talking about the ruler, which was the whole point.
Sounds like you need to adjust your recipe.
What?
Adjust your recipe. I think this is a good lesson idea, but you need to try different proportions of the activity.
What in the world are you talking about?
It's time to go back and rethink the lesson. What worked? What didn't work? How to better pace the lesson. Maybe a visual will help.
A mixing bowl?
Yes, we're going to remix your lesson. Now, what worked?
The stations were a big hit. They were fun, and the students got practice at measuring, which was good.
But the stations took a long time, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll add 4 stations to the mix instead of the 8 you originally used.
Oh, I see. I want time to talk about what we found out using the non-standard measurement too.
Fine, let's add a group discussion.
And then I want to introduce the standard ruler.
Great, 1 ruler into the bowl.
I think it would be good to have them break into groups again and measure a few things with the rulers.
Nice. Hey, do you think it would strengthen your lesson if they had to measure the same set of objects with the non-standard measures, and then after they got the rulers, go back and re-measure the same objects? Then they can compare how they got their different results with the non-standard measuring and the same results with the ruler.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah.
As you just witnessed, a good teacher must reflect back on her lessons and go back and forth in the planning process as she develops and creates strong lessons. Additionally, the backward design process allows the teacher to jump into her planning at almost any point. There are 6 doorways to design. The previous example illustrates beginning with a key resource or favorite activity. The teacher had an activity that will help the students learn a measurement standard, and she builds from there. Other doorways a teacher can explore are
Ugh, I don't want to do another boring math lesson. I want to have students do something meaningful that will help them understand the standard, not just memorize it for a test.
Since you know the standard you want to address, you could begin your planning by examining the content standard itself.
Look for key nouns.
Identify the big ideas that are embedded in the standard.
consider key verbs.
I want my students to be able to use this knowledge in the real world.
It sounds like you need to begin your planning by considering the desired real-world applications. What big ideas are in the standards, And how do the big ideas emerge from studying it?
Why is it important to learn and know?
My students love to play with the tangram shapes. What lesson could I make that would include using them?
Sounds like you should begin your planning by basing it around the tangrams.
Start with why the activity matters. How will it help the students learn the big ideas?
Consider what evidence you will need to collect to show that the students have achieved an understanding.
Well, I really want to make sure my students understand how to make change from $5.
Sounds like you will be starting your planning with an important skill.
What will the skill help the students to do?
What do the students need to understand to use the skill effectively?
I want to make sure my students are ready to take a big test.
You'll need to consider creating your lesson around the key assessment.
Figure out what the students need to understand to perform well on the test.
Is there any other evidence of learning that is needed?
I inherited a lesson from another teacher and I'd like to use it more effectively.
Sounds like you'll be tweaking an existing unit this weekend.
Focus on the clarifying ideas.
Keep asking yourself, what should the students come away understanding?
Whichever approach you take, always remember to keep the content standards present. Focus on discovering what key understandings the students will gain from the lesson, and help your students discover the big ideas. Also remember that you are reviewing, revising, and improving on the plan. Each plan is different and unique, just like the teacher leading the class and the students learning the knowledge and skills.
I have to admit, I am nervous about using backward design for my lesson. It seems like I could lose track of what I want to accomplish with my students. What if what I want to plan with one group just isn't feasible for another?
As with any planning process, there are unavoidable dilemmas. You have to weigh the pros and cons of each lesson with each group of students you're trying to teach, and then negotiate through the problems that arise. No one is perfect. We just do the best we can with what we have.
Remember, a good teacher is a reflective teacher. Try the lesson, then evaluate it, adjust it, and try it again. A good teacher knows that no lesson is set in stone. It can be adjusted to meet the needs and personalities of the students in the class. Another valuable thing to do is to get feedback from the students. It's as simple as having the students fill out an index card with what worked for them and what didn't work for them, and then turn it in. Done weekly, this can help the teacher understand the students better and helps the students think about what they learned and accomplished.
We just like to dedicate this little film for our best buddy, Miss Liz Kahn.
We do appreciate y'all watching our presentation this evening.
Ha ha ha.
We love you, Nucky.
Mwah.
Oh my God.